Let's look through some French listings together so I can give you some free tips and hopefully some insight that you'll find useful. You don't need to know any French to keep watching. I'm going to explain some French terms that might be confusing in the listings and some French property jargon to help you out. First, I'm going to tell you a quick story about how easy it can be to become confused in France even when you think you know what you're doing. When I first moved to France, I needed some cough medicine, so I went to a pharmacy. When I explained what I wanted, the lady behind the counter very politely explained that what I needed was a pharmacy and this was just a pharmacy. I left with no medicine and a lot of confusion. What she'd actually said in French very quickly was that this was a parapharmacy. You can't buy drugs at a parapharmacy, it's more herbal remedies and such like. Anyway, back to the listings. Why did I pick this one? Well, I'll tell you. I wanted to illustrate quite a common term that you probably have come across in English, vis-a-vis. Here is how Google translates this. Pretty helpful, right? Literally, it means face to face, but what it actually means in the context of this listing is that the property is not overlooked. It says sans, S-A-N-S, which means without, so the listing is saying that the property is not overlooked. The other point I want to illustrate with this listing is that this is the owner selling the property direct. If you click the button to contact, you'll be contacting the owner. Again, it's quite common in France. Okay, let's move on to the next listing. This is another quite common term that might not be obvious. Three faces. There is nothing to translate here apart from the context. It means that three faces of the property, or the three sides of the property, are not attached to another property. So it's attached on one side. Here's another with four faces. That means it's completely detached. There's one more term coming, but first I'm just going to say if you find this useful and would like to learn more, there's a downloadable guide to over 300 French words and phrases just like these that explains and puts them into context to help you. You can find it at frenchpropertyfocus.com. Okay, so the final one is some French jargon that you'll see quite a lot. So apartment here does mean what you think it does, but what about RDC? Well, I'll tell you. It stands for this, which means ground floor in Europe or first floor in the US more likely. So this is a listing for an apartment on the ground floor of a house. If you've learned anything listening to this, please do check out my free 30-minute webinar. I take you through some real-life case studies based around 7 mistakes not to make when you're buying in France. So today we learned about vis-a-vis, 3 and 4 faces, and finally RDC. You might feel a little bit more confident to try and look at some of the French language sites. If you aren't already looking at the French sites, you really should be, or you could miss out on finding your dream home. I've got an online course that covers all aspects of your search and will help you. Go from confusion to confidence and learn all the strategies you need to search for your dream home in France. Thanks for listening.